A snowstorm came down. Terrible, terrible snowstorm. And snow, beautiful white snow, covered the ground. And there were two kids that came out. One was a girl with a pink hat and a pink coat. The other was a boy with a blue hat and a black coat. And they saw the snow and they got so excited. They just jumped right in and started playing, tossing a ball back and forth, having so much fun. But then they had this idea, and they decided to make a snowman. So they started rolling the snow together and packing it all in and stacked together. Oh, it was so cute, so small and little. And then they had to find sticks, and they would put them in the sides to make his arms. And they found a carrot and boop, put it right there for the nose. And then they started searching for rocks, and they put him there as the eyes. And then they put more to make the smile. And the girl and the boy looked at it, and they were so excited. But then the boy said, something's not right. And the girl said, yeah, it's that something's missing. Then the boy had an idea. He took off his hat and put it right on the snowman. And there it sat. And the boy and girl looked at it, and they said, oh, it's just so good. So they held hands, and then they skipped off together. Now the snowman, as he sat there, he came to life. As he started moving his face around, his mouth started moving, and his eyes started moving, and he shivered and shivered and shivered until he was alive. And he looked at his hands, and his fingers made of sticks, and he saw all the beautiful snow. So cool, he said, and he started walking around. Now, I mean, he really can't walk. I mean, it's slow. He kind of moves around. But he does move. And so he moves, and he's looking around. He sees little critters hop by. He's so excited. Well, then he sees the sun, which is just really bright. He almost can't see until he looks closer. And as the sun is rising up out of the sky, with its beautiful eyes and beautiful mouth, and she looks down and blows a kiss at the snowman, which the snowman, his heart just warms. Oh my word, and he fell right in love right then with the sun. And he said, oh my word, and he just had to grab. But then he realized he was stuck on the ground and he actually couldn't move. And the sun looked down and winked at him and sent him another kiss, and the snowman tried even harder and harder to get to her, so he started moving. But the sun also was moving as it turned into noon and she was over him. And then she started going down because it was evening and he had to turn around to chase her. But the sun started sinking down. She had been one last link before she set. Oh, and the snowman was so sad. He hated to see her go. And everything around him became ice and he couldn't move anymore. So he sat there cold and quiet all through the night. And the stars came out and patterned the sky. And he looked at him, but he was still cold. And he was waiting for the warmth. And again, the sun started coming up with her eyes and her smile. Gave him another wink. And man, he was excited, just falling in love still. He even had tears fall down. He was so excited. So he ran to her and he had this idea. There was a tree. So he decided to try and climb it. And he realized that only his top half was moving. And so he grabbed this rope and lassoed the tree and pulled it towards him and kept pulling it until he released it and tension had him soaring through the sky. But he fell on the ground and he didn't quite make it there. And the sun continued in her descent. And he tried and tried again and again. But the sun kept going down and then it was dark. And so he waited for the sun to come up. It was still cold, but then, as before, the sun came up and he tried and tried to grab the sun. And he struggled day after day, every day, as the sun kept making her same pattern. But the snowman actually started melting. He was so in love, but he was melting. He couldn't move much anymore. And as you could see, spring was starting as things started sprouting up from the ground. And the sun was trying so hard not to be so hot, and she shrunk herself some, but it didn't stop because and then his arms fell off. He looked around and one arm fell, then the other arm fell, and he was walking around with no arms, and then his body continued to fall apart, and he continued to melt. The sun looked and was just screaming, "No, no!" But the snowman continued to look straight into her eyes as he melted away. And he sat there on the ground with just his eyes spread apart. And the sun looked on, crying and screaming, and she had her own tears. But from water, no, they were hot tears that spewed from her as heat came off her body, and everything around her started to melt, started being destroyed by her sadness. And as she continued to cry and cry, she looked down, and the snowman was still water, and his eyes and nose were still there. She was still sad, still crying. But then something started to spew up from the ground, kind of like this white air. It was forming into something. Continued to form. And the sun looked on. It was the snowman, except wasn't snow anymore. He had morphed into some type of form out of the air. He looked around, he had white arms. And he saw the sun again, and she looked down so excited. And the snowman wasn't made of snow anymore. He was made of air. And the sun was so happy, and so was the snowman. And since he was air, he could come to her. And they met, and they embraced. Oh, what a happy meeting, finally. Because they were finally together, and they would love for eternity as they traveled the sun's rotation every day together.